Hello everyone, welcome back. We're so close to reaching 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to support us and keep the content coming. Now, back to the story. I caught my wife cheating. But when I packed my bags, she screamed words I will never forget. The silence in our bedroom felt heavier than any argument we had ever had. It was suffocating, as if the walls themselves were closing in, while I stared at the open suitcase lying on our bed. Just an hour earlier, I had come home early to surprise Emily for our anniversary. Instead, I found her in our bed with a man I had called my best friend since high school. I didn't shout. I didn't throw a punch. And I didn't wait to hear the weak excuses already spilling from her lips. I simply walked to the closet and started packing, my hands shaking as the fabric of my shirts scraped against my skin like sandpaper. Emily stood near the door, wrapped in a sheet. Her face showed guilt mixed with a strange, rising resentment. "Liam, please. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything," she pleaded, but her voice didn't carry real regret. It sounded more like frustration that her secret had been exposed. I said nothing. I slipped my laptop and passport into the side pocket of my bag. The sharp sound of the zipper closing felt like the final beat of a dying heart. The betrayal wasn't only about what I had seen. It was the crushing realization that the last 5 years of my life had been built on lies. I had worked double shifts to pay for her master's degree. I had stood by her through every career crisis, and this was the anniversary surprise she had prepared for me. I shut the suitcase and turned to face her, my expression empty, reflecting the uncertain future ahead. "I'm leaving, Emily. My lawyer will contact you about the house and the remaining assets," I said calmly. Without the drama she probably expected, I grabbed the handle of my suitcase, ready to walk out and never look back. But as I stepped toward the door, her attitude changed instantly. The fake tears disappeared, her eyes turned cold and sharp. She rushed in front of me, blocking my way with sudden desperation. "You think you can just leave me?" she screamed, her voice so loud it seemed to shake the windows. "You think you're the victim? You're nothing without me, Liam. I only did it because you're boring, predictable, a failure who can't even keep his wife interested." She stepped closer until her face was inches from mine. Then she shouted the words that will stay with me forever. "I'm pregnant, Liam, and it's not yours. It's his. And you're going to pay for every single part of that child's life, because your name is still on that marriage license." The words hit me like a punch to the stomach, stealing my breath in the middle of the hallway. But as the shock passed, a cold, steady clarity replaced it. Emily was smirking now, convinced she had trapped me for the next 18 years. She believed her confession had chained me to her forever. But she forgot one important detail. I managed our insurance and medical records. "Is that so, Emily?" I asked quietly, my calm tone unsettling her more than anger ever could. I didn't wait for an answer. I walked past her, grabbed my keys, and left. For the next 2 hours, I sat in my office, reviewing files she didn't even know existed. 3 months earlier, I had completed a routine medical screening for a life insurance policy. I opened the document and stared at the bold confirmation of something I had always known but never shared. A childhood illness had left me completely sterile. I wasn't the boring failure she accused me of being. I was a man carrying a private truth, waiting for the right time to tell her we might need to consider adoption. I didn't call her. I didn't return home to argue. Instead, I sent my medical report, along with the time-stamped footage from our front door camera, showing my best friend entering the house while I was at work, directly to my attorney. Emily thought the law would force me to pay for her betrayal. She was about to discover that the truth cuts deeper than any lie. I checked into a hotel, ordered a drink, and watched as her frantic messages began flooding my phone. A week later, the ending I deserved finally started to form. My lawyer filed for an annulment based on fraud, using my medical records to prove the child could never be mine, avoiding a long and painful divorce. Emily's world collapsed. The man she chose over me disappeared the moment he learned about the pregnancy, leaving her alone with no support and a reputation now whispered about throughout our social circle. I sat in my new apartment, breathing in air that no longer carried her perfume, and felt a peace I hadn't experienced in years. Her attempt to break me had become my freedom. I used the money from selling the house to launch the travel photography business I had postponed for her career. For the first time, My life truly belonged to me. I wasn't a safety net. I wasn't a failure. I was a man who had endured a storm and emerged stronger. The silence around me was no longer heavy. It was filled with possibility. If you discovered your entire life was built on lies, would you stay to fight for the truth or walk away toward freedom? Nearly 90% of our viewers haven't subscribed yet. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that button and check out our next video about a shocking Reddit story where a husband uncovers the truth about his cheating partner.